Joining me now is UFC featherweight Tristan Connelly, who is at the Performance Institute in Las Vegas, getting a little stroll in. Tristan, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's walking to the goal here. So, it's the final descent, all the fun, or the least fun part of everything until the real fun happens.
For sure, man. I want to congratulate you on having a fight booked. I know it's been a long journey back for you. Does it feel like it's about damn time?
Oh God, yeah. It's been a crazy year. I mean, obviously with the pandemic, everyone's had to go through. But I mean, also having I had a daughter, which was the shining gem of the whole situation. She really made everything that I've had to go through bearable. From having neck surgery to getting back in shape, and I've never been out of shape in the last 10 years until this happened. So it's almost interesting to see what it's like for someone that's out of shape to come to the gym, because I basically had to go out of shape and come to the gym and jump right into it with killers and it was just trial by fire. The first month back training, when I was cleared to train, I was getting killed by everyone because I just didn't have the fitness, didn't have the drive. But after 1 month of going hard 3 times a day every day, I adjusted back to my regular self, and I'm feeling great.
It's great, man. Just kind of taking it chronologically, I think the last time I spoke with you, you and Cole Smith had just fled the country to escape the pandemic closures that were going on here, and you didn't really know what your fighting future would hold. But I think a lot's even happened after that for you. You mentioned the neck injury. Can you talk me through that a little bit for maybe the people that aren't familiar with your situation and what you had to go through with your injury this past year?
Yeah. So I mean, basically, last time we talked, we just came. I was supposed to fight Alex Da Silva and the UFC Portland card. It was one of the 3 cards that was actually canceled. And then we went back. I was in Vegas at the time with Cole. We came back, and the injury is actually from a car accident about a year and a bit prior. But after the car accident, my head snapped forward. I got pain down my arms, numbness in my fingers. But I was able to rehab it to a point where the intensity wasn't crazy, so the doctors didn't think it was a big deal. I guess probably some muscle spasm. If you're training, it feels good. Just keep going. And I fought 3 times. I barely took a day off. I took 1 month of rehab and went right back into it. And then, so fast forward to COVID and going back, and then basically sitting on my ass for 2 months, not doing anything other than going for runs and doing push-ups because everything is closed and the whole world's in a state of chaos. And over a course of about 5 days, that my symptoms went from that 10% of the initial 100% that I had up to 10,000%. Just excruciating agony and pain. I couldn't sleep. So opiates are doing nothing for me. I'm yelling at my pregnant wife to grab a towel and put it around my head and pull on it because neck traction was the only thing giving me any relief. Finally ordered the MRI, and it came back. My neck was basically Swiss cheese. And we tried to rehab it. I tried for 3 months. I tried as hard as I could. And it was becoming clear that wasn't going to get me back to what I needed to be. So we had to look into surgical options. A lot of doctors wanted me to get a fusion, which if I get a fusion, with what I do is going to cause more problems, more surgeries in the future. But I found an awesome surgeon in Victoria, Dr. Sun. A big shout out to him. And he put in an artificial disc. And I woke up from the surgery. My pain is essentially gone. They give you painkillers because they cut your throat open and go through the front. But that pain is nothing compared to the nerve pain that I was experiencing before. And then it was just starting to rehab and the process to get back. And that was only in the summer. And 3 months after the surgery, I was cleared to start contact training again. Obviously, I had to incrementally step it up. But 3 months from surgery, and I was able to start grappling again. And if I got a fusion, they said it'd been a year at least until I was able to start grappling again. So these artificial discs are great, man. I've been going as hard as I can, and I feel awesome. So, really testament to modern medical science, and also the surgeon that I had, and also Medtronic, the company that makes the actual disc I have, because there's different discs. This one's the same one that Chris Weidman has been competing with it for a few years. So we knew it was reliable and trustworthy. And I've been testing it out hard, and it's been holding up no problem.
Well, I love to hear it, man. I'm glad everything worked out and you didn't have to have that fusion. Was there any sort of doubt in your mind that this injury would be something you would be able to heal and compete with again? Was your career in question at all in your head, or was it just was that never, did that conversation never really come up?
Well, I mean, it was an unknown, but there was never any point where I was willing to accept that. Like, I never got to a point where I was like, oh, okay, this might be it. In my head, it was, okay, what do I got to do? Like, I'm not going to think that until I've literally chased every single option, and because I'm a master of recovering, man. I'm 35 years old, and I got no real injuries like other than that are like, I feel great. I have guys that are 30 that are like falling apart, and I just heal well. I'm like Wolverine. I take damage well. I'm durable. I heal quick. I rarely, like I say, that's just the first time I've been out of shape, because in 10 years I've never had an injury that's kept me up in mats for more than like a week. So that, I mean, in my head, I was mentally like, I'm going to do everything. I called my manager, Jason House, when I found out the information about the MRI, and I said, hey, before I tell you this, I want you to know that retirement isn't even a word I know. This has happened. I'm going to deal with it. I might have to take a step back for a year to deal with it, but whatever it is, we're going to do it. I'm coming back. If there's any possibility, I'm going to find a way.
Well, you were right, man, and doubt's not in your vocabulary, and you did a good job getting back, recovering, and you talked about being in the most out of shape that you've been and not being able to train, and now here you are preparing for a new weight class. You're making the rare double jump down from welterweight to featherweight. How does it feel? What was the decision-making that went into this one?
It wasn't any one thing. There was a few compiling things. One big thing is that I've been training with a lot of featherweights down in Vegas and even in Canada. And a lot of my training partners are that size, and so you want to be training with guys in what your weight class, right? And I felt like I felt like I could probably make it if you gave me enough time. But the problem is when you're training 24/7 all the time, it's hard to really diet enough to get your weight to stabilize at a point. Because what we do for fighting is we crash diet, we get down to weight, and then we blow back up again. And then I'm constantly training, so it's hard to not eat outside of camp and maintain to really set your new body's weight. You have to kind of stay at a weight for a while and maintain that. And so the one thing it was like after surgery, it's like, look, I can't really train. There's only limited things I do right after, but I have this 3 months before I can do any contact, and I can start doing some fitness stuff slowly and then some strength stuff. But the one thing I could do is, because I wasn't killing myself, was like, look, I can just not eat anything. And so I basically fasted 24 hours. I just ate one meal a day, 5-6 days a week for months. And I got my weight down 10 pounds, from 185 walking around to 175 walking around all the time. So I was like, hey, well, I've done this. I feel like I can really take a run at it. Will I stay at featherweight? We don't know. We'll have to see what happens after the fight. I'm 100% good for this one, but then after the fight, now that I'm able to keep training after the fight, I'm going to be on the gym. Well, I have to go back to Canada and quarantine, but after that 2 weeks, I'm going to be right back in the gym. And I'm not going to be starving myself. Now, is my body going to want to just start putting more muscle on? I don't know. So we're going to have to see what the next couple months after brings. Do I put on a whole bunch of muscle? I'm going to try and maintain the same weight, but that'll be sort of the question that dictates the future after this one.
Yeah, and let's talk about this one. So you get an offer finally. You're finally going to be back. Pat Sabatini, April 24th, the first card that's going to have fans. What was your reaction to the environment and as well as the opponent?
I just wanted to fight. So everyone's asking oh, are you super excited to be on it's a big card? I'm like, well, of course I am, but I'm more excited. Being able to fight trumps all of that. So it's just a bonus to be able to fight in such a huge card. But for me, I never got to fight in the crowdless thing, so it's almost just like being normal, right? I'm not. Yeah. I fought in a crowd. I didn't fight in the no crowd thing, going right back to a crowd. So it's just business as usual for me. So that's how I'm trying to look at it. I always try and keep everything very the same in my head. Nothing's changed, nothing's different. It's just a fight. Same stuff I do in the gym every day. It's the same. As soon as you put anything on a pedestal and start being oh yeah, I'm on this huge card. It's a big deal. I got this big fight. Well, not necessarily gonna hurt, but I don't see it helping at all, right? It's just a distraction. I'm just focused on what I gotta do. It's an MMA fight. All I do every day is prepare for killing people, essentially, and I'm gonna go try and kill this guy.
Yeah, and I guess that's the only thing that's really different from your last fight is the opponent, Pat Sabatini, a little bit different than than Michael Pereira in terms of his style. So, what are
A
your
little
thoughts
bit.
on the matchup, and what do you think fans can expect to see out of you this time around?
Yeah, I think Pat's, from what I've looked up, he's a gamer, man. He's a real good wrestler, real good black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know, obviously this is his UFC debut, but I think he's definitely ready for the UFC from what I've seen from him. He seems very like I see a lot of similarities between the two of us, honestly. Like I listen to him talk, and you know, I feel like we think similarly. He's very all in. He doesn't. I don't think he takes time off. You know, when he dislocated his arm in that fight, he's back in the gym like a week later. Like he's all in, and so I know what that brings to the table because that's what I'm like. So I really think it's going to be, you know, especially early off, we're going to be pretty even because for both black belts, you know, he's an American Div 1 wrestler, and I spent all my time wrestling on the wall. So I feel like we're going to probably want to test each other there and see what we feel, who feels stronger, whose energy kind of is anyone whose energy is able to sort of last longer, and then that's going to kind of dictate the rest of the fight. But I really think that early round it's going to be a pretty fast start, and we're going to test each other, and we're going to see who starts to fade first, and whoever can keep the pace higher longer, I think is going to get their hand raised at the end.
Awesome, man. Well, I for one am looking forward to it, and I appreciate the time. Get back to your treadmill, and appreciate it, Tristan. Good luck in the fight, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.